Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about how to fix the problems you have with your onboarding process. This is more for speeding up a slow onboarding process because you're losing time and you're losing money essentially, which is almost the same thing at this point, right? Depends who you ask. It's almost philosophical when you think about it. But anywho, let's focus. So onboarding. Yes, a lot of companies have very slow onboarding. So what this means is that most employees, the average employee, takes 3 to 6 months to be fully proactive, fully efficient, fully productive. So that means those first 3 to 6 months, you're not getting as much value out of them. And 6 months is half the year. That is a huge deal, right? And it's like it's a bar chart. They start slow and then eventually, go up to where they're proficient. And that's where you can do assessments and things of that nature, right? But yes, and then also there are studies that show that 67% of employees, this is in America, 67% of employees feel overwhelmed in their first week of work, right, when they're being onboarded, right? And you see a lot of times this also causes a really quick churn, right, where the employee might feel overwhelmed and just quit, and then they get anxiety, then they get worried over time. It just creates a bad experience for them onboarding. Now, experienced veterans, usually they know that onboarding is going to suck, but people that are just entering the force might have a really hard time and kind of feel discouraged, and they might even quit because of the pressure, right? You don't want anyone to quit right when they join the company. So to deal with this, there's a bunch of different tools out there, right? But I'm going to focus on just 4 right now, just to give you guys an idea of what each one does and give some advice about how to integrate these as well into your business, right? So there's Claude. It's called Claude Code. So this is a tool that is it's an AI tool, right? So I'm talking about some AI tools and non-AI tools because both are great. Because normal automation tools that don't use AI, and there's AI tools that do automation but also do other stuff as well. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna alternate between the two, but don't think that they're exactly the same as well. Okay, so pretty much Claude Code. What this does, it does a lot, and I'll give you the best thing that this is so beautiful. Sorry, I'm distracted by pretty stuff. The best way to explain it is that imagine you have a company that deals with software that they make on their own. If you hire a new programmer, a new software engineer, or just a data analyst or something like that, or things of that nature, right? They onboard faster. There was a company I spoke to. They onboarded their new tech staff within 1 month, and they were fully productive after a month because they used Claude Code, and which is really really impressive. And the idea is that this can go into a code base, right, or whatever you use, GitHub, GitLab, all that jazz, and essentially teach them what's going on. They can ask questions to the AI model about the code itself instead of getting a senior staff person, right? Because if you have senior staff, they're probably working on a high-ticket product or a high-ticket project, whatever the case is, and for them to take time out of their day to teach someone else, to teach a new employee, that takes time away from their current project, and that slows down that project, right? And obviously, essentially, you kind of lose money in a way, right? Because you're integrating a new person, so you have to, break people down to focus on that person, and once they're up to speed, now everyone can work and do their own thing, right? But it takes time to do that, right? But with Claude Code, it helps the person kind of teach themselves what's going on in the code base without needing someone to explain it to them, right? And that's really cool. There's other, ChatGPT can do the same thing as well. Gemini can also do the same thing as well. But Claude Code specifically is known for this right now, which is really cool. So definitely check this out. Yes, but I highly recommend do your research on it if you can afford the cost, if you think it's worth it, and things of that nature. And it's also ways that you can build your own, onboarding thing. You can build your own AI or fine-tune your own AI model to do this, you guys selves, or build an internal tool that does this really easy, or just document your code really well using videos, maybe, just really good documentation for programmers is really important. So if you have software in your company, keep this in mind. This is really cool. Now, the OG, the original big HR platform, which is Bamboo. They claim to be number 1. Not sure they're still number 1 now, but they have added some AI features. Let me not say that. They definitely added a lot of automation features for sure. I gotta double check if they're AI or not. But they do have a lot of automation features that they added now, and it's one of the most popular HR platforms out there. So they definitely have improved quite a few things, right? So definitely check them out. Not promoting them per se, but I would say this is just an option if you don't really care about AI and stuff like that. But I'm not saying it's not worse than Cloud Code. It's just a different type of tool than Cloud Code, and you're probably used to seeing Bamboo HR anyway. So yeah, then we have Guru. It used to be called Talla, Talla. Yeah, it used to be called Talla, but they rebranded to Guru, or they got acquisition. Not entirely sure on the business part, like behind the scenes, what's going on, but they have a tool for onboarding people now. Right, and this tool is pretty cool. They have a whole article explaining like how it works and what it does essentially, but they focus, like I said, once again, heavily on automating a lot of the stuff that happens in onboarding, like signing forms or filling in information or ticket handling, things of that nature. This could potentially do that for you. So really, really, really double check this, see if it's great for you. It's a 7-minute read. Highly recommend you check out Guru. It's spelled G-R-U. Yeah, G-U-R-U. Sorry, yeah, Guru. Okay. So yeah, and next we have Exonify. This is a AI focused platform, or they have an AI feature that's really cool where they try to personalize your learning path for onboarding essentially. Sorry, there's a mosquito in the air. So yes. So these guys, yeah, they're more known for that particular feature. They do have other features in place, but this is like their most popular one, of course, is the automating the path someone takes when learning how to onboard, right? And like I said, there's a lot of different tools out there that you can use for something like this. And yeah, now the next thing I want to talk about is that you can also build your own internal tools. You don't have to rely on external tools to do your onboarding, right? Because some companies, they look more complicated, or they're set up in a way that isn't easy to just use these tools. Like maybe if you're more service based, it might be a little harder to do onboarding because you do have to be taught the things in person, kind of like job trades, like welding, mechanics. You do have to like see the person do it, watch how they do it potentially. But there are ways to go around that, right? Like really good in-depth videos, really good use case. Like yeah, probably videos is like one of the best way to do it. So you don't have to have an automation tool to do it, right? Just really great documentation, really great videos or pictures, right? Try to have as many examples as possible. Document anything that happens in the company. Let's say it's a mechanic shop, right? You try to document every single problem that comes along the way. So when someone comes in, they are introduced to all this knowledge versus they have to learn it over time. Like their first 2 weeks is just them learning what the business has already gone through via videos or documentation, right? But a lot of companies don't do this. A lot of businesses do not do this, especially service-based ones, because something happens with a particular customer. You don't really document it. Now that person has that knowledge, so if they leave, knowledge is gone. And when someone new comes in, that could save you money potentially if you know how to do it faster, better, and you already know the struggles that go involved with it, and you can show expertise as well. And that someone just kind of walked in, and you can do it with anybody if everything is documented and everyone learns. Also, in service businesses as well, I believe. Yes, service businesses. How do I explain this? That documentation thing is also important, where people should hear and know about what other people went through. So let's say Bobby and Johnny work for the same pest control company, but they're not documenting information and they're not sharing information with each other on their experiences, right? I think it's important to share these experiences, and this can help with onboarding later, where you collect all this information together as a group. So when someone new comes on, they just learn everything quicker and they just get valuable information. And then, they also feel very included in the company as well, right? Which is really important. So keep that in mind. That's just an idea. And another thing, the last point I'm going to make is that when you're implementing integration tools, systems, flows, or just methods of just onboarding people and trying to make it more efficient, focus on one pain point at a time. Don't try to uproot the whole process from scratch and try automating and making everything efficient, right? Pick one point and focus on that one point. So that way you can shop these tools, right? Let's say, I highly recommend you always shop tools. Just see what they're offering, see the pros and cons. Every tool has a pro and every tool has a con. You must look at these pros and cons. There is no tool that is going to just solve all your problems and have no issues and no problems. If you experience that, great. They did a great job. Share your experience. Definitely promote them. And explain why you feel like it's the perfect tool for your business and things of that nature. But not everyone has that experience, so keep that in mind when you're shopping for these tools. There are going to be some cons with some of them, okay? But make sure you know the cons, okay? You don't have to know AI. You don't have to know automation. You just need to understand what the tool does exactly and what it can't do, okay? So keep that in mind. And also, just like I said, if you're doing something that doesn't involve using these tools, I would highly recommend, just taking your time with this. Do a slow integration of it. Don't just automatically on Tuesday be like, all right, guys, we're documenting everything. That's going to stress out the whole team. And you don't want that, right? So especially if things have been done a certain way, for a while. Now you're adding in a new thing. It's going to throw off everyone's flow and all this stuff, make people uncomfortable and stressed out. So definitely take your time to slowly integrate this, okay? And there's a lot of other ways to integrate this as well. There is faster ways to integrate this. You could have this integrated in a week, 2 weeks, depending on your business size or the tool you're using. But, there's other ways, and it's very business specific as well. So you'd have to know your business and how integration works within the business in itself, or you get someone that's a specialist that can help you integrate these kind of things into your business. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. If it involves AI and automation of these type of tools into your business to just improve the onboarding process, speeding it up is so crucial to making businesses work more efficient and save more money, and just also lose less employees in the beginning phases of their career of joining that business, right? So, yeah. But appreciate it, guys. Peace.